mentioned Edwards. He'll be playing in the midfield, and then also new signees this year. Defenders Lars Eckenrode and Brandon Aubrey were big additions to this back line.
Yeah.
And then Phoenix. For Phoenix, we mentioned Omar Bravo. Also, in the offseason, they signed Sean Wright Phillips, who had an extremely successful career overseas, and then look to the two of those players to combine a lot with Luke Rooney. The three of them will be a very dangerous threat going forward.
Great. Excellent. Good. Yeah. What do they have for Alseth? Is it Alseth or Alseth?
Who is this?
For them. For Toronto. Sorry.
Nothing.
Where's Alseth on there?
27.
Yeah. What do they have? Alseth. The pronunciation.
Is it raining outside?
Sounds like it.
I thought I was hearing that.
Oh, man. Alseth is the third-round pick for 2017. So they've got all their draft picks are hanging around.
Ladies and gentlemen, get on your feet and let's hear it.
That rain is coming.
Phoenix Rising.
Yeah, I do. I'm going to call it Phoenix and Toronto for the vast majority of the game. There are times where I'll try and drive home the point that these aren't MLS teams, but that's fine.
So does lineup have to be longer?
Okay, are we going to do lineups longer or just run a little short on this segment and come back? All right. You excited?
I am, are you?
No, I'm pretty amped.
Let's do this.
Oh. Whew. I should have saved that Red Bull for now.
Seriously.
Whew.
I'm usually in bed an hour ago. So
Yeah.
I've never called a game this late, but it's pretty cool.
I mean, I stay up later than my girlfriend, but she's 9 is her time. That's when it's over for her.
She's my kind of girl.
Uh-huh. Mine too. I'm all about that.
Please welcome the referees for tonight's match. Randy Toshaw, Alicia Messer, Brandon Marshall, and Robbie Holner. To present tonight's colors, please welcome the Salt River Police Department Honor Guard. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening's national anthems will be performed by Mr. Patrick Louder. Please stand and remove your caps for the singing of the Canadian national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we
In the Arizona desert where 101 and 202 converge, new stars and a new home, a new name and a new season, Phoenix rises next. Welcome to the newly minted Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex. Sold out for the last couple of days. No tougher ticket to get in the state of Arizona. The 2017 regular season begins as Phoenix Rising takes on Eastern Conference foe Toronto FC2. Hi everybody, Mike Watts, Morgan Conklin with you. And you haven't seen Toronto yet if you're a Phoenix fan, but Raheem Edwards makes a return visit this year.
Edwards is only 21, so young, but is such a key player in the Toronto system, had a great season last year, and they'll look to him to be a big leader for this team.
Signed to a first-team contract during the offseason, but he's with FC2 to start now. Meanwhile, for Phoenix, maybe the biggest name in North American soccer?
Huge offseason signing for them, almost on the other side of the spectrum. 37-year-old Omar Bravo brings so much talent to the USL League as a whole, but has a huge impact off the field for his team as well as a leader.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups. We begin with Toronto FC. This will act as a 3-5-2.
Correct. We mentioned Raheem Edwards earlier. He'll be playing in the midfield. Big signings for them this past offseason as well. And defenders Lars Eckenrode, Brandon Aubrey will add key players to this defense that needed some help from last year.
They really struggled. Mark Pace is in goal, came over from St. Louis. For Phoenix, only 7 returning players. OC Blues goalkeeper Josh Cohen into the equation. Wazinski on the bench. Who stands out?
Up top, in the attacking area, we're going to look up. It's going to be a big threat for this Toronto three-back system that they're playing, as you'll have Sean Wright Phillips behind Omar Bravo, and then you'll be looking for them to kind of pull strings and play together. You'll have Ruben in there as well.
So we're minutes away from kickoff here in Phoenix. It's Phoenix and Toronto coming up.
Celebrate spring with savings from Pruitt's. We've got the biggest deals on your favorite looks. Like this sofa chaise with script pillows, yours for $399. Or this South Beach 4-piece bedroom set, just $699. Visit Pruitt's for the lowest prices and best selection at Alma School and Ray or Thomas Road and 34th Street. Pruitt's, proudly serving the Valley for 65 years.
For Arizona soccer fans, it's a whole new world. Phoenix Rising FC has brought together the elite from Mexico, England, Canada, Jamaica, Nigeria, and the USA. They're all here to play for you, your Phoenix Rising Football Club. Get your tickets for the next big match against LA Galaxy 2, Saturday, April 8th. Phoenix Rising FC, a world of power and passion, rising as one.
Hey, little man. I'm your new house. Come on in. This is gonna be great. Watch what we can do together. Lights. Ta-da! Locks. Not bad, huh? Oh, and this. I've been saving this for you. You take care of the universe, I'll take care of you.
Cox Home Life, home security and automation.
There was nothing here 53 days ago. The team says from tumbleweeds to rough and tumble, it's Phoenix Rising and Toronto FC just minutes away from kicking off their 2017 USL seasons. Mike Watts, Morgan Conklin back with you. This is a sellout. More fans are to come. And for this Phoenix group, so much excitement to play in front of this group. Frank Yallop had to tell players that this plot of land was going to turn into something great. For Toronto, it is Jason Bent, who is in his third year at the helm for a club that is yet to reach the USL Cup playoffs. He's hoping to turn things around for the USL affiliate of Toronto FC. Meanwhile, we talk about all that Frank Yallop has done, and while Jason Ben is tasked with trying to develop players for the first team, Frank Yallop is being tasked with turning around a franchise that in his first season didn't really have his mark. This is his team now.
All the moves that they made in the offseason, he's really been able to just craft this team that he's created. It's been incredible looking at their offseason acquisitions, bringing in veterans, getting some younger guys. And he said they're just really trying to find chemistry. Obviously, none of these teams have had too much time playing together opening day, so he just wants his team to settle down and just gel as the game goes on.
Remy Tuchan is the official in the middle. It'll be his job to wrangle this bag of cats this evening. What a terrific evening in this brand new stadium. They tested the lights out yesterday to be sure. The lights shine brightly tonight. Welcome to Phoenix Rising Soccer for the very first time. Mike Watts, Morgan Conklin with you as Phoenix is entering a new era of Arizona soccer. Tuchan in the middle. Messer and Marshall will work the touchline, says the officials today. As Toronto in the all-red kits controlling. Pardon, in the white and blue kits. As here comes Phoenix for the first time in that new club rebrand from the offseason. Vasquez does well to work up the touchline. And Vasquez earns the deflection, and it stays with Phoenix.
Vasquez, a young player in their program, but a player who's comfortable on the ball, so you'll see him getting forward a lot, trying to make opportunities, crosses, corner kicks, throw-ins, as you see. So he's a player that's really going to be getting in the mix, even though he's in the back.
Mike Seth, new to the equation, comes over from Colorado Springs, his 8th year in the USL. Matt headed out, and from a throw, a corner, and Phoenix in the first minute and a half already putting the pressure on.
Exactly. They're pressing, sending players forward, playing a little bit direct just to try to see what happens, open the game up a little bit. They're home. Might as well.
First minute here, and here comes Rooney for his first corner of the year. Found a teammate. He'll get a second bite at the apple. Goes over. Seth comes down to Endo. And here's Victor Vasquez, already showing off some moves early and now trying to pass up the right-hand side. Not a bad effort either, but just leaking over the far touchline. A lot of excitement about this Phoenix team, and it's not just the stadium, it's not just all the changes, it's the caliber of player that they brought in, the excitement that this organization has drummed up, Morgan. And as we see Wright Phillips move forward and show a little burst of why this group is going to be so offensively phenomenal this year, you look at Rooney and Wright Phillips and Bravo, and you can't help but be a little excited every time they touch the ball.
Well, and it's not just exciting for fans, it's exciting for the front office staff, the coaching staff, the players, the young players on the field. It's exciting for all those involved when you bring big names in or bring in veteran players, when you get a new stadium, stuff like that. So big changes, as you said, and there's just excitement all around.
Comes all the way back, handled by Josh Cohen. He's in goal, not Carl Wazinski, who broke the record for saves in a USL season in 2015 with Arizona United. Meanwhile, on the other end, Mark Pace did start against Phoenix last year and nearly turns it over. They're going to try and task with playing further back than they have in the past and asking Mark Pace to be better at handling the ball than Toronto FC2 has proven to be in the past. It's a foul against Luke Rooney.
And as you said, they've been practicing over their preseason, over their time together, building out of the back and then defending as a whole team, starting with the front line. So it's a bit of a new look for them. And this is really their first real test in terms of opening game to kind of see how that all goes.
Watson playing it to his right, and a throw for Phoenix. We spoke with Frank Yallop this week, and he talked about how this Toronto team at the MLS level is known for playing out of the back. It got them to the MLS Cup final where they fell to Seattle Sounders in the MLS season last year, but really not something they've done very effectively at the USL level, and already you can see Mark Pace has gotten more touches than maybe a Toronto team would give a goalkeeper last year in the USL. Rooney. Karam's over to Victor Vasquez. Trying to play Seth, and that off his line. Pace will have a goal kick. Already you can hear a bit of a drum beat here in this stadium, and it's beginning to feel like home more and more. You've played in the College Cup, and you've been in big atmospheres before. It's tough to put to words what a sellout means and what the first game in a new facility feels like, doesn't it? As this curled in and handled the goalkeeper new to the equation in Cohen.
It's hard to explain, as you said, but there's almost a buzz in the air. You can feel the beats, you can feel the chants, and it's like the buzz of excitement almost, if you want to call it. You can just feel what the fans are feeling, the excitement from the players being able to finally show off. And what better way than opening day, new stadium, sellout crowd? It really doesn't get much better than that if you're a fan or if you're a player.
As Omar Bravo was the target on the previous bomb downfield, here comes Phoenix attacking again. They've dominated possession early. Vasquez was able to push it ahead to Wright Phillips, who has it taken off his foot by Jay Chapman. And they're good fans in Arizona. It's been proven in previous efforts to bring professional soccer here, but this Phoenix ownership group looks at this as a bit of an entrepreneurial startup, and they've taken the approach that they have to earn every ticket sold. They have to make fans want to come and be a part of professional soccer in Arizona. And the roster and the amount of money they've put into this privately funded stadium is absolutely awe-inspiring as this finds its way over the far side as Wakasa watches it out, the young man, 22 out of Cal Poly. Headed towards Wright Phillips. Chelsea, Manchester City, Queens Park Rangers, most recently New York Red Bulls, where maybe he was better known for his brother, Bradley Wright Phillips, who scored 70 MLS goals. Vasquez, not the best touch.
Not the best touch, but a great run. You see him opening up, getting wide, calling for the ball a little bit. I like that look. Fortunately, didn't have the best touch, but it's early, and he's going to continue to get forward because he likes the ball at his feet. He likes to get into the attack. So next time he gets that ball, he needs a better touch to go forward, but he's so dangerous when he has that good touch in front of him.
And you can hear a little bit of the wind. That's not Vasquez, but that's the comparison that Yallop made. Here's a chance for Toronto. Fired in front and into the net. A perfect start for Toronto just 8 minutes into the game. It's 1-0.
And what a build-up getting forward. Ben Spencer plays a beautiful ball across. Ryan Telfer, just beautiful finish, has a player on him, not the easiest, but a beautiful finish in there. For Toronto, that's big. All the buzz around Phoenix. The crowd, the stadium, the players, that's a way to silence it a little bit, and that's what they needed, was to get an early start. Because as this game goes on, Phoenix is going to be even more dangerous. So for Toronto, that's what you needed right there, is to put an early goal away.
54 in white. Telfer signed yesterday out of York University. Comes on in his first professional match and scores against a star-studded Phoenix team. Wow, what a start that is for Toronto on the road, a group that last year struggled to score and struggled to win. Early gut check for Frank Yallop's team as galloping ahead Rooney plays Vasquez on the left wing, curls in across, open header is right at pace.
Beautiful cross in there by Vasquez. I mentioned earlier, if they play him again, he'll have a good touch, he'll whip it in. Beautiful ball across, great header. A little bit right to the center of the goalkeeper. He was there, not too tough of a save for him to make, but what a beautiful ball by Vasquez, and that's what Phoenix needs, is to respond. wasn't a goal, but it's a great opportunity for them. So now their momentum is back. The goal's behind them. They're moving forward.
It was Wright Phillips on the shot, and it's Telfer picking up his first goal of the season, and it came early in the 8th minute against Phoenix Rising. And he's chasing after it again as Cohen kicks it the other way and didn't quite connect there with Wakasa. Well, Arizona last year allowed 46 goals, which was less than they allowed in 2015, but still defensively not nearly good enough. And now as Phoenix Rising, they try and change that defensive stereotype they picked up of being a little leaky in the back. And 8 minutes into the rebrand, not the start they were looking for. But they've sure looked dangerous going the other way. You feel like that's not going to be the only goal scored tonight. Cohen plays it low, lost in the midfield, but bounces out to Vasquez. A little bit of space here for Rooney to move ahead. Had a really strong year last year. So too did Mike Seth with Colorado Springs. Vasquez, who already has a piece of great service from that left wing. Wright Phillips trailing back. Johnson forces the turnover. Wright Phillips is stripped. And kicked away by Marky Delgado. Here's Ben Spencer. There's a little room there on the right side for Endo. You look like a true outside back when you watch these games because you're pointing to the wings and seeing all the open space and you're calling for passes.
Well, when these outside backs get wide and forward, you often catch midfielders and forwards don't like to defend. It's common. So when your outside backs like to get forward, sometimes you catch them out of position. So that's what I see going forward. That's how I like to play, is when you get wide, sometimes you're open, and it's always nice when you don't have someone on you. So those outside runs, especially for Phoenix, if you're Vasquez, those are the runs he's going to be looking for. He's dangerous getting forward like that.
Bravo showing the early fire here against Edwards. Wakasa, Edwards sliding into the corner flag. And out for a goal kick for Cohen and Phoenix Rising. Goal in the 8th minute from Ryan Telfer, the early tally for Toronto. But so far we've seen good play from Phoenix, and we've seen what is a loaded offensive side. Bravo hasn't gotten a ton of touches, but Wright Phillips has seen the ball quite a bit. Rooney in the midfield has carried the ball ahead. And we've seen Seth and Johnson, the wide wingers, find a little bit of room in this 4-1-4-1. Johnson turns it over. Long ball ahead. Telfer latching on. Greer trying to keep him out. Telfer playing it low. It's tapped right back to him. The target was Spencer. And then the whistle, a foul, as the ball was controlled by Wakasa.
That was a dangerous build-up going back to that from Toronto, but great work by Matt Watson. He's a player that isn't as big of a name on his team when you have veterans with the names that they currently have, but he just holds that center midfield area. He's a good all-around, is how Coach Gallup described him. Good in the holding position, can connect going forward, but then tracks defensively and can break up opportunities for the other team.
They're watching 8 in red to see that holding mid and Watson. Wright Phillips sends service across the box. Nobody's there. And it's a throw for Toronto and Endo. Trying to glide by Seth, and the passing on point initially. But that kill zone that Frank Yallop talks about in the midfield broken up by
Number 8, Matt Watson. There you go. As we said, he's going to have very good positioning going forward and attacking, being a support player, but then defensively, he'll put himself in the best position to break things up, to break up the other team's attack. So, as we said, may not be a big name, but if there's a defensive stop in that center area, you can probably guess that it's Watson.
And Watson on the ball now. Ball leaks away from him. And it's lifted by Telfer up the left-hand side. And just out of the reach of Spencer. Toronto last year allowed 29 goals. That's more than 29th in the league in goals allowed, 58. More than every team but Tulsa. Seth drives the end line and deflects that off Endo. It is a corner kick for Phoenix.
Seth does a good job getting something for his team there. That's a tough cross to get it around your player when he's so close to you, but gets his team a corner kick. Great work by Omar Bravo. Cheeky little ball in behind to play Seth in there.
And Luke Rooney back on it again. And just over the top of the entire side. They were aiming for Omar Bravo, and if this fairy tale, a stadium being built in 53 days, is going to come completely full circle, Bravo is the guy who's going to score to tie this thing.
And I still can't quite believe that it was 53 days. It's absolutely beautiful. Very impressive.
What a gorgeous stadium
Beautiful.
This is. Alec Papadakis from the USL was there to help christen the stadium before the game, along with this ownership group from Phoenix who have really upped the level of this franchise in one short offseason. There's a goal kick coming for Toronto. Pace will start quickly from the back. And it's brought ahead by Lars Eckenrode, the draftee out of Michigan, who turns 22 this week.
And the fact that Toronto is trying to play out of the back is extremely obvious. They play the short goal kick because they want their outside backs, their defenders, to have the ball and to really start their attack. So they're looking to stretch out the field, so they start short.
Sliding challenge to try and keep it from Watson. It falls to Wakasa. Wright Phillips trying Johnson on the right-hand side. He tries to leap by the former Ram of Virginia Commonwealth.
Number 9, Tsubasa Endo getting wide out right. He's been calling for the ball, finally gets it, but that's a player to watch as he tries to get forward.
And look at him go. Endo blasts it into the bleachers, and he was waiting for the ball. He finally gets it. He drives. Has a pretty nice effort at the end, too.
And as Toronto has those 5 midfielders, they can send somebody extremely wide. He's dangerous to cut inside. Not a bad look. He doesn't have much space, but still tries to hit it. Not bad. If you're Victor Vasquez, you need to watch him out wide because he's trying to find that space. He's done it a few times. So he gets by you once, maybe twice, but Vasquez needs to keep his eyes out for that one.
My partner here, the former right back, is watching longingly as he sees all that space.
That's when it's fun, when you have that space. If you're a defender, you don't get forward too much, so you can be creative. So it's always fun when you get out there.
Well, that was a risky proposition, and in the end, it'll go as a foul against Phoenix Rising. Athletic from Johnson, can't argue that. It drew some oohs and ahs on the way. It's over Vasquez and Endo on the restart. What a gorgeous night here in the Arizona desert. This game being broadcast locally in the Arizona area as well as on YouTube. And in the Arizona area, you can hear the game in Spanish using the SAP button on your remote. Or stay with us. Always an option. 19th minute, 8th minute goal for Toronto to take the lead from Ryan Telfer. Phoenix probing again. Pass aim for Wright Phillips. And a throw for the home side.
Phoenix is trying to build. They're trying to get the ball wide, switch it, find their central area. They haven't been able to connect too much in those balls through the center, trying to slip them there, which is also difficult to do as you're playing a Toronto team that has 5 midfielders. So they're compacting that area. So those slip balls, they're having some trouble finding those, but if they can continue to get the ball wide and then look for it, it'll open up some gaps for them.
Seth looking for the long throw. Takes a kind hop. Rooney. Bit too ambitious. That's off the patio suites there.
He missed Sean Wright Phillips opening up to the left there. I think he had a little bit of tunnel vision. I understand it's easy to get that when you're in the center of the field, but Wright Phillips made a very good run opening up, and that was probably a better option because he had space and then could in turn serve it in.
And we spent time talking with Frank Yallop this week about combination play and the fact that he expects Rooney and Wright Phillips to both play high enough to not isolate Bravo, but that the three need to combine well and that doesn't happen overnight.
But he said so far he's been happy with how they combine. Obviously, they still have a ways to go, but in terms of not playing together too much, he's been impressed with the way that they play off one another and just are able to combine. So as the season goes on, that's going to be something exciting for Phoenix fans to watch, is just how those three players get better going forward together.
Driving up the left-hand side, can Toronto add another? And that got out over the end line. Spanish available using the SAP button on your remote. The only team in the United Soccer League to offer both options every game this season. Like Seth on the defense. And here's Josh Cohen, arguably the best goalkeeper in Division II at UC San Diego his last 2 seasons. Reached the playoffs in 2015 with OC Blues and alternated in the starting role last season. And now he's very much in the equation as OC Blues had acquired Brandon Miller from Rochester, the 2015 goalkeeper of the year. Cohen fought for position there. Meanwhile, it's Spencer. Drop back to Chapman. Wide for Alseth. Comes out of Syracuse. Rooney. Wright Phillips, arm extended on the left side of your screen. Bravo's service intercepted on the way to Wright Phillips. This is a Toronto team that, in Jason Bent's words, has to respect all but can't fear anybody. The 40-year-old head coach for Toronto with a very young team. Be easy to be intimidated by the level of star power on this Phoenix roster. As the ball aimed for Telfer again. Wakasa turns it over, had no assistance in the midfield, comes over to the left-hand side, and that's blasted out of play. It was Ben Spencer on the attack again.
Ben Spencer with the left-footed strike. Beautiful run in that little slip ball in between the defenders. Spencer ran onto it, got a little bit on top of it, so it went over. But what a beautiful run. That little slip ball, fantastic. A lot harder than it looks.
And La Furia Roja provide their chiding to Spencer's inability to put that on target. He turns 22 on the 28th. This whole team feels like they're in their early 20s. Now Seth. And now Endo. The game is settled in, and Toronto holding more of the ball in the last 15 minutes. They did in the first 10, where they managed the opening goal of this affair.
Toronto doing a great job of keeping possession. It starts, as we said, with them building out of the back, but they're just stretching the field, moving this Phoenix team around, which is just allowing them to find spaces, but they're doing a great job of building out of the back and just keeping the ball, not forcing anything, but their passes are also very crisp. They're able to find feet. they're doing a great job of just possessing, which they can right now with the 1-0 lead.
Delgado through ball for Telfer. Delgado still chasing. Wakasa lofts the ball back towards midfield. Lifted up the left side again. They've been going at Wakasa all night long. This time he provides a little more of the body, but Toronto turns the corner. It's Telfer looking for a brace. Instead, he's swarmed. The ball comes free. And how quickly can Phoenix respond? Bravo brings it down. That on a dime. And Seth just offline with the Chivas all-time leading scorer in Bravo.
And that's tough for Phoenix. They're great team defending. Beautiful ball. Fantastic touch there by Bravo, right at his foot, right where he wanted it. Unfortunately, Seth just missed him on that second ball, and that's tough is when you don't have a lot of numbers going forward. You have to find their feet to give your team a chance. But what a touch by Bravo. I mean, absolutely beautiful.
If you gave me 1,000 tries at that, I don't bring that ball down once.
Mike, I wish I could see that.
Once. I wouldn't do it once.
I couldn't either. I'll give you that one. But I would pay to see that.
And I was in New York covering the Red Bulls when they brought over Thierry Henry, and obviously a guy later in his career. And it was the same thing. There's just certain things you can't teach with a soccer ball that certain players can do. And Omar Bravo is one of those players where you just can't teach the skill set he has. He's that good.
Absolutely, and players like that are fun to watch. If you go to the game early in warm-ups, they're playing around, if there's ever open practices or anything like that. At this level, all players, but especially someone who's just a veteran, like once you learn that, you don't lose those skills, as you were saying with Henry, but that stuff is just so fun to watch, and I mean, look what he can do on the field because of it. It's fantastic.
Toronto carrying again, 27th minute, and a hard challenge by Wright Phillips goes without any issue from the official. Endo working up the right side again, blasts another cross in. This was offline, but there is an attacker coming up the wing. It's Raheem Edwards. Comes down to Greer. Rooney trailing backward. Road.
As this game progressive, continue to watch Endo getting wide. When they have those 5 midfielders, he can stay super wide. It's hard to mark him.
There it is again, and perhaps if the service was better, could have been something there, but Wakasa nearly turned it over. Johnson was trailing back to grab it. Johnson trying to combine with Wright Phillips, who's able to keep the ball. Nifty piece of work, trying Bravo down the middle, as Seth wasn't able to control long enough to play the striker. And if Seth had controlled, he could have gone backward and had a good option too.
Phoenix has the right ideas. They're getting forward. They have the players that they want forward, but it's the last pass or the entry ball. They're just a step off. I think that comes with still learning how each other play, still trying to gel, as we said earlier. But they have the right ideas. It's just connecting the pieces.
We spoke Frank Yallop this week. He said first 3 weeks, I'm just focused on fitness. We aren't even talking tactics. We're doing little combination drills. Once again, it's Endo playing it right down the center. Lofted towards Raheem Edwards. There's Delgado. Vasquez has to stay a little wider as this being carried ahead by the goal scorer, Telfer. Raheem Edwards, plenty of room to operate, fires across. Well defended.
Well, and you said Vasquez has to stay wider, but that's why he doesn't, because he needs to be pinched in for when a ball comes across. There's more numbers in the middle, so he needs to stay more pinched in, but it puts him in a tough situation when Endo is getting so far wide and getting into the attack. But that comes from the formation that Toronto is playing. I thought it would cause the Toronto defense more of an issue, having 3 in the back with the 3 strong Phoenix attackers. but in turn it's working right now because they have so many midfielders. So Vasquez is staying inside more, which there's numbers there, but in turn it's opening up the outside for Endo getting forward. So it's almost you have to pick what you take and what you give up. You can't cover both.
And right now they're giving Endo that wing, and fair point, because Edwards is equally lethal, more lethal if you look at his body of work. You don't want to give him easy crosses with targets either. This Toronto team really has forced Phoenix to pick their poison in the first half an hour. Trying the left side. Edwards curls it into the middle. That's terrific work from Watson. Play continues. Edwards tries to turn the corner. Back towards the end line. Continuing skillfully up the line. And that gets out. And it's a goal kick for Phoenix.
Raheem Edwards just showing why he's a player to watch for Toronto. The cut's right along the sideline. If you're Phoenix, you cannot let him cut inwards. You need to use the sideline to force him off the field. He cannot cut inwards. That is so dangerous. And a player as quick as him, he's proved he can pick out forwards or runners getting forward. So if you're Phoenix, that cannot happen. He cannot cut back in towards the field. He needs to be forced off the end line.
This Toronto side, they might be young. And we haven't seen a lot of them in the past, Morgan, you and I, but watching them right now, the wing play for them has just been outstanding.
They're using their formation well with their tactic and idea of possessing and defending together. The 3-5-2 is working very well for them. And at first with the lineup, I had said that their defense will be under a lot of pressure, but the fact that they're able to possess, their defense hasn't had to do as much because they're not giving up the ball. So obviously that puts their defense in a good position if they're not having to defend.
Well, and they scored on that counter, but after that they've controlled the ball, and along with the 1-goal lead, it's really allowed them to control the contest.
And play the game that they want to because they have that 1-goal advantage. So they have a bit of a comfort zone, if you call it that.
It's a good first touch, but eventually kicked away. That's Ramage there in the back, returning for another year. Certainly one of the defensive centerpieces for this Phoenix organization, as that leaks out. Frank Yallop, year number 2 for Phoenix. 9-14-7 last year, 2-time MLS Coach of the Year. A guy who's really staked his reputation on this franchise when he came in. Brought in a lot of guys with experience around him, both as a Canadian international, as a coach at the MLS level and the international level. And really brought in some quality players and people to help develop those players into a group that he feels can really compete this year. Great sliding challenge, pushed ahead to Seth. Seth with the left foot, that's just over. Bravo made himself available on the opposite post, but Seth went for it all.
He made it a little more difficult for himself. He took that ball to the corner, but great left-footed shot to get around the ball. But as you said, Bravo's another option to just roll the ball back across. But if Seth can just take a touch a little more central, a little closer to the goal, he won't make it as difficult for himself. Obviously, he's left-footed, so he wants that ball wide. But with the defender closing in, it makes his angle a little bit smaller for what he can put on frame.
Seth last year, 8 goals, led the way for Colorado Springs, one of the top teams in the Western Conference. This is a team that moved on from Ty Blackwood and Long Tan, who both had good goal-scoring records in the Arizona side in the past. So Seth will be asked to pick up some of that mantle, and he's looked good so far. And this, the season opener for Phoenix Rising. New rebrand, new stadium. A lot of anticipation and excitement for tonight. Soccer has never had a bigger buzz in the state of Arizona than it has in the last 2 months.
And how cool that Diplo and Pete Wentz are part of this.
Yeah, right.
That is so cool.
I feel like not enough people are aware of that, and you can see the Mad Decent logo on the jerseys for this Phoenix side. There's a lot of well-known faces and people around this equation. What a great night it is here. You can see the interstate just beyond the stadium here. Temperatures in the mid-70s, no chance of rain. And this pitch, as well as just when it's lit up at night, looks even better than it does. It doesn't look bad during the day either.
Beautiful.
They sold out tonight, and I don't think this will be the only time they sell out this year. This is going to be the place to be for the next 7 months. Rooney trying up the right-hand side. Can they beat the back three of Toronto? Kicked away from Johnson.
I like the idea from Rooney, getting forward, springing Johnson forward. Johnson's a player I want to see a little bit more from. Phoenix has gone up the left side, tried to get Vasquez, looked for Seth, but I want to see Johnson a little more in this, and the central players need to look to the right a little bit more to kind of switch things up, spread it wide. Use his speed, he's so fast.
Great goal scoring record for VCU in the CAA, and then moving over to the Atlantic 10. Seth firing it in towards Johnson. 6 foot tall Jamaican. And he's just another in the long line of top-tier players, MLS players, international players for this group, trying to emulate what Cincinnati did last year. And this work from Watson is strong, setting up service. The cross towards Seth. He heads it back towards Bravo, and it's kicked away before he could get a piece.
Mike Seth using his height, his strength to get up for that ball. Watson, a player to watch once again, is just connecting his team in the front and in the back. I've been extremely impressed with him so far tonight.
Spencer helping to hold the ball up for Toronto FC2, who hold a 1-0 lead. They garnered back in the 8th minute. Right now, Seth will collect for Phoenix as they were trailing backwards. Seth, some contact with Endo.
Phoenix did a great job of closing the area when Toronto was going forward, but then Seth gets the ball at his feet and tries to play it small again. That's when they need to find the other side, switch it, because if you close down an area and then try to go to the same place, just on the other side of the field, you don't have much option.
And we talked about, Frank Yallop calls it the kill zone, that area where in the midfield you start either pushing back or try and cut off passing lanes and make your stand. And right there they were able to kill possession, but they weren't able to get it then out of that kill zone.
Right, they killed the other possession and then they killed their own by not finding the other side.
He said, well, the formation could change, but we have a philosophy, and that philosophy has worked for a really long time at a really high level in this country. And Phoenix would do well to keep with it because they were able to take the ball away. They're on it again, but commit the foul.
And talking about that kill zone, that's just something that when it's instilled in the team, as you said, doesn't matter the lineup, doesn't matter the formation. It's just the hard work to cut the pass off and work together. And it doesn't matter who's in there, what you're playing. It's just the idea that you bring that to the field every night.
Johnson trying to play it up the wing. Heavy work from Wakasa. Aims it towards Bravo. Eckenrode watches that out. Mark Pace played for St. Louis and Tulsa collegiately. Was replaced by Dave Legoric, who had a shutout in his first game for St. Louis today against Kings Cup rival Louisville. Pittsburgh and New York Red Bulls 2 played to a terrific 3-3 draw. Richmond has picked up their first win of the season all here in match day 1 of the USL season. And you can follow all of the team previews on USLsoccer.com by Nicholas Murray and the great group over there as they get you ready for what's bound to be the biggest and best season of USL soccer yet.
Just of note, Omar Bravo has slid out to the left a little bit, looked to him to find the ball wide, and Seth had moved up to a little bit more of a target position, using his body, using his strength in that area. So Bravo has slid out wide, probably to try to find the ball at his feet, to just get on the ball a little bit more.
Cohen did really well to keep the ball. As Johnson turns, he's putting on a small clinic and earns the foul too.
Great effort by Johnson. Didn't have much with the ball, kept it at his feet, but earned a foul. And that's hard work when you don't have a lot to get your team something. That is a lot harder than it looks, so great job by him just to keep it.
This lobbed over the top. Here's a chance for Bravo. Plays it towards the middle. This Phoenix side might be onto something as they take the ball right back. Sean Wright Phillips tracking to pick the ball off.
Tracking is right. You had Seth no longer on that left side for time being. Bravo was up high, so Wright Williams had to do the hard work and track the ball there. Gets the ball back for his team and gives them an opportunity to go forward, but it doesn't work out.
And coming forward is Toronto. Some room in the midfield to operate. Trying the left side where Raheem Edwards does his damage. Pulled in by Cohen, who dives out.
Raheem Edwards gets the ball at his feet, looks for the quick ball across. Not sure if he meant to put that on frame or pull it back more as a cross, but still had pace on it and was still dangerous.
Seth playing Bravo, the two playing off each other well, and now Johnson leaking up the right side, up to Wright Phillips, who turns, and it's blocked by the sliding challenge for Toronto. The link-up play over the last couple minutes from Phoenix is as good as we've seen it since maybe the opening 10 minutes before that Toronto goal that started to turn the tide.
And they're getting numbers forward and they're finding feet, which is helping build up going forward. But this Toronto team is playing fantastic team defense. It's really hard to break them down, but it's good to see Phoenix finding feet and connecting more because that'll give them opportunities to move around these Toronto players.
Chapman couldn't keep it, but it's kicked out by Phoenix. Sliding challenge. Johnson carries the ball across midfield. Couldn't take on this Toronto midfield that did well to stay in position. Endo trying to help switch the play. A Japanese right-sided player. Nine in white. Tsubasa Endo has been all over the place. Former MVP of the Big Ten tournament at Maryland. He's actually a native of Tokyo, but played in the academy residency program in Fukushima when they had that terrible earthquake and nuclear disaster back in 2012. He came over to the U.S. and eventually now to Canada, and the Japanese right wing has been all over Phoenix's back line. Down at the bottom left corner of your screen, 9 in white. Bravo, the through ball from Seth cut off.
It's a right idea, but that's a hard pass as Bravo cuts central. The defender slides with him, so the window to play that ball gets extremely small.
Here comes Endo again. Cohen, wow, stepping right in there to take it away.
Fantastic job by Cohen to come out for that ball. It's tough. You have a speedy player there, an Endo coming at you. So for him to come off of his line, very confident play, great job with his feet as well.
Brandon Aubrey tossed to the ground by Omar Bravo. Would have thunk the better defensive play today. Maybe the best singular defensive play was to stop that attack coming from Endo by the goalkeeper, Cohen.
Just a confident play with his feet. Very impressive.
But how many goalkeepers are confident enough to go not only off their line, but to leave the box and just step on the ball, just walk right up to the ball? A lot of guys would dive at that and take out somebody's legs as opposed to trusting their ability.
Well, and that's the thing. Great job coming out, but as you said, not a lot will just go through the tackle. So extremely impressive.
The attack on, Raheem Edwards plays it right in front. That got across the entire length of the goal and out. Ben Spencer nearly had the second Toronto FC 2 goal.
This Phoenix team is going to have to keep an eye on Ben Spencer. The timing of his runs is fantastic. He's had a few slip runs in behind. There, when the ball's wide on crosses, he's able to find it. So he's a player that's tricky and can slip in behind them, so they'll have to keep an eye on that as the game continues.
It'll be 1 minute plus of stoppage time. At halftime, hear from USL President Jake Edwards, his sit-down interview before the season. Also take a look back at stats and highlights. Hoping to hear from our third crew member and Gabriela Alvarado as well. This ball into the 18, looking for a penalty. They're looking for a handball. It won't come. Ramage is still arguing the case for Phoenix. Well, this is an attacking position for Phoenix in the last minute of the first half. And that tapped out by Edwards. So a corner coming for Phoenix, and they'll need to move quickly here with stoppage time quickly running out.
Exactly, they'll have to go quickly to try to get this corner in play. A great opportunity for them to sneak one in right before half to take advantage of a misclear, but they'll have to hurry up as there's obviously not a lot of time left.
Bent wants this thing to be done, at least for the first half, and leave with a lead. Rooney, headed by Ramage, curled it back in. And that's wide from Greer, and we've reached
Ladies and gentlemen,
end of the first half. Your take on this first half. Toronto scores in the 8th minute. It's Ryan Telfer, the difference.
Phoenix came out strong. I think they were a little stunned by that early goal. Started to find their feet again, find their style of play as the game went on, but this Toronto team is tough. Their team defending, their possession, the way they're just finding their players out wide. Endo's been extremely dangerous. So this is a good match. Phoenix, home match for them. They have a lot to play for coming out in the second half.
At the end of the first half of play, it's the goal from Telfer that's the difference. Toronto FC 2 holds a 1-0 lead over Phoenix Rising FC in the first game in their new park. We've got stats and highlights coming up, as well as a sit-down with Jake Edwards. Sit tight.
Phoenix Rising FC requests that you refrain from tossing any objects onto the field.
Trolls.
If the game ball enters your seating area, please return it to the nearest ball retriever or security personnel. If sitting close to the field, please be aware that balls may be struck into the crowd at a high rate of speed. Please use caution. And finally, any spectator entering the field or interrupting play in any manner.
This is Contour from Cox. Cable TV reimagined to get you right to the good stuff.
Celebrate spring with savings from Pruitt's. We've got the biggest deals on your favorite looks. Like this sofa chaise with script pillows, yours for $399. Or this South Beach 4-piece bedroom set, just $699. Visit Pruitt's for the lowest prices and best selection at Alma School and Ray or Thomas Road and 34th Street. Pruitt's, proudly serving the Valley for 65 years.
But he couldn't
Explore the Southwest lifestyle, the culture, the music, the food, y más. Join hosts J.R. Cardenas and Vanessa Ramirez for a Southwest adventure on Su Vida. Travel the state, enjoy the food, discover new artists, and fun things to do. Every week, JR and Vanessa share their discoveries with you.
Watch Su Vida on YourView every Sunday and Wednesday on Cox Channel 1007 or at yourview.com.
For Arizona soccer fans, it's a whole new world. Phoenix Rising FC has brought together the elite from Mexico, England, Canada, Jamaica, Nigeria, and the USA. They're all here to play for you, your Phoenix Rising Football Club. Phoenix Rising FC faces Real Monarchs Saturday, April 1st at 3 p.m. live from Salt Lake City on Your View, Arizona. Phoenix Rising FC, rising as one.
Back at the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex, what a terrific evening it's been, but the score line a bit of a damper at the moment. Mike Watts back with Morgan Conklin. Toronto FC 2-1. Phoenix Rising FC in their inaugural restart trailing 1-0. Morgan, you look back at this first half, and we talked about it as we take a look at our first half highlights. This is a game where Phoenix came out and really did play up to the crowd's energy and expectation, but they just weren't quite able to get over the hump, and eventually Toronto countered. As we take a look at these highlights, and Ryan Telfer was able to get on the board, but it was a good start for Phoenix.
It was. They were feeding off the energy, as you said, but Toronto just responded early, and I think Phoenix was set back a little bit. It's hard to recover from an early goal. Great job by Ben Spencer to get forward. Ryan Telfer, a beautiful finish, hard with a player on his back, just gets a touch on it. Great job by him, but Victor Vazquez has been so dangerous on that left side getting forward. Crosses have been fantastic when he gets forward, given his team an opportunity. But on the flip side, he's had to defend, and he's been put under a lot of pressure with Endo getting forward and using his width, cuts inside, has been dangerous with crosses. So he's had his hands full, but when he gets forward, helps his team out, can get up the left side with Mike Seth, who's been dangerous as well, has moved around a little bit to the central area, stayed wide, but continue to look for Omar Bravo, Luke Rooney, Sean Wright-Phillips to combine to give Phoenix a good opportunity.
This from Raheem Edwards late in the first half. Mark Pace out to grab it as he aimed again for the man who assisted on the goal, Ben Spencer. And that's a look at your first half highlights as here at halftime outside Phoenix, it's Toronto FC 2 with a 1-goal lead. Plenty still to be written here in this first home match at Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex. Back with an interview with Jake Edwards in a moment.
We've raised the stakes. Expectations are high. Our biggest season yet will break records with elite players and future stars. Innovative technology and new homes. We're growing the game in our communities and across the nation. Are you ready?
And welcome into the USL Network. I'm TJ Reeves. It's opening weekend, and we have President Jake Edwards with us to talk about the beginning of the 2017 season. Jake, welcome. It's only been a few months since the USL Cup was raised in New York. Very busy off-season. One of your biggest stories, though, is elevation to Division II status. Tell us more about the importance of that.
Yeah, thanks, TJ. It's been a very busy off-season, as you said. Short off-season, they get shorter every year. A lot of good things happening. One of the big stories in the off-season was the sanctioning of the USL as Division II. This is a major component of a long-term strategic plan called Destination 2020. We embarked on this a little over 4 years ago. And a component of that was raising the level of operation and sophistication of the USL as a league and as the whole enterprise, working with all the clubs to make sure we have the right ownership, we have the right facilities, we have a sufficient level of operation at each club. and build it so that it has to be as good as or better as a second division level.
2017 is also another productive year for expansion. You're bringing 3 new expansion teams in this season, as well as several new ownership groups with existing teams. What is the overall league strategy on expansion, and will we see more of it soon?
We will. So we are expanding always with a national focus, but looking how we regionalize the competition.
We have several new stadiums opening this season. I know that has been a big goal of the United Soccer League.
It's a huge initiative for us. It's been a game changer for a number of other leagues when they focused on improving the quality of the buildings. For us, it's about delivering an authentic match day experience for the fan and providing the players a very professional environment to play in.
As you start this season, it is opening weekend. The competition level is getting stronger. You have an influx of young, talented players from the United States and other places, also veteran players that you're bringing back. How do you feel about the level of competition as this season begins?
I would say this is probably going to be the most challenging season for the teams to compete in this league. We've got a really exciting blend of talent in our league now. We've got some world-class players coming in, players like Joe Cole here in Tampa, Omar Bravo, legend out of the Mexican team playing for our team in Phoenix, Sean Wright-Phillips also. So we've got players that have played in the Premier League and in the international levels. We've got a core group of professionals, of veterans that have played in the MLS, USL, overseas. We've got 70 players now in the league that play for full senior international squads. So we've got a good base of really high quality and in some cases world-class talent, but we've got this really exciting group of young players who are going to be the next superstars of the national teams or of MLS, let's say, in the future.
Jake, thanks very much. Good luck with the start to the season. If you want to see the complete interview, you can go to uslsoccer.com. The season underway. Thanks for being with us.
Celebrate spring with savings from Pruitt's. We've got the biggest deals on your favorite looks. Like this sofa chaise with script pillows, yours for $399. Or this South Beach 4-piece bedroom set, just $699. Visit Pruitt's for the lowest prices and best selection at Alma School and Ray or Thomas Road and 34th Street. Pruitt's, proudly serving the Valley for 65 years.
For Arizona soccer fans, it's a whole new world. Phoenix Rising FC has brought together the elite from Mexico, England, Canada, Jamaica, Nigeria, and the USA. They're all here to play for you, your Phoenix Rising Football Club. Get your tickets for the next big match against LA Galaxy 2, Saturday, April 8th. Phoenix Rising FC, a world of power and passion, rising as one.
Hey, little man. I'm your new house. Come on in. This is gonna be great. Watch what we can do together. Lights. Ta-da! Locks. Not bad, huh? Oh, and this. I've been saving this for you. You take care of the universe, I'll take care of you.
Cox Home Life, home security and automation.
A look at the supporters section in Phoenix. Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex rising out of the ground in the last 53 days. And this new look team trails Toronto FC 2, 1-0 at halftime. Mike Watts joined by Morgan Conklin. We take a look at the first half statistics, Morgan. And in total, this is a game where Phoenix had more shots. Toronto had more of the ball, especially in the last 30 minutes of the first half. What stood out to you, maybe even beyond these stats?
The possession, the fact that Toronto has established their style of play. They don't have as many shots, but they have more shots, more dangerous shots. They're taking advantage of the few opportunities they have. 3 shots, put one in the back of the net. Obviously, that's good for them. Phoenix has had chances. They just need to make better chances, so they can in turn take advantage of theirs as well.
When you look at what Phoenix did in the first half, what changes do you make with the personnel on the field? Don't even get into substitutions. What maybe impressed you most about that group, and who needs to stand out a little more?
Well, I think Victor Vasquez has proved to be a great attacking threat as well as a strong defender. So if you can continue to get him forward, I want to see Luke Rooney on the ball a little bit more and work with Wright Phillips and Bravo.
Trolls. Ah.
Go, 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 go,
Cookies! This is Contour from Cox. Cable TV reimagined to get you right to the good stuff.
Celebrate spring with savings from Pruitt's. We've got the biggest deals on your favorite looks. Like this sofa chaise with script pillows, yours for $399. Or this South Beach 4-piece bedroom set, just $699. Visit Pruitt's for the lowest prices and best selection at Alma School and Ray or Thomas Road and 34th Street. Pruitt's, proudly serving the Valley for 65 years.
For Arizona soccer fans, it's a whole new world. Phoenix Rising FC has brought together the elite from Mexico, England, Canada, Jamaica, Nigeria, and the USA. They're all here to play for you, your Phoenix Rising Football Club. Get your tickets for the next big match against LA Galaxy 2, Saturday, April 8th. Phoenix Rising FC, a world of power and passion, rising as one.
Back in Arizona's deserts, and where 202 and 101 meet, this stadium has risen out of the ground. And Phoenix trails Toronto FC 2-1-0 at halftime. And Frank Yallop's team, in their first ever appearance against this Toronto side, have struggled over the last 30 minutes to really put themselves in position to score for some stretches. Mike Watts back with Morgan Conklin. And when you look forward to this second half, we talked a little bit there before the break about the importance of Rooney and Wright Phillips and what we saw from Vasquez. Look at Toronto now. They've had a couple of players that really stood out. Obviously, Endo has been tremendous on the wing, but we saw Spencer and Telfer both have strong first halves, and even Raheem Edwards. What's this group have to do to come away with 3 points? Because they didn't do that very often last year.
They need to continue to win the midfield battles, which they've had a player up in the midfield area, so it's been easier for them. They need to continue to win those midfield battles because you know this Phoenix team is going to come out at halftime. Their home opener, new stadium, new players. This game isn't over. So they're going to need to win the midfield battles because Phoenix has 3 extremely strong attacking players going forward, and Bravo, Rooney, Phillips, Johnson, and Seth have been dangerous tonight as well, and they can take advantage of the fact that Toronto is playing with that 3-back system if they stay in it. They could switch to 4 and try to possess even more, but if they stay in the 3-back system, Phoenix needs to take advantage of the fact that they have extremely strong attacking players going against just 3 in the back.
This is the first of 5 of 6 games at home to start the campaign for Phoenix Rising. As this a group that's excited to play in front of these fans as often as they can. They'll be on the road next against Real Monarchs and Mike Petke's team before a 4-game homestand, including the expansion side in Reno, the Galaxy 2, Swope Park Rangers, and Oklahoma City. Frank Yallop galloping back to his bench as he tries to help this Phoenix team figure out what went wrong in the last half an hour of this opening 45. It's a group that has all kinds of attacking talent. You said this game is far from over, and I couldn't agree more, Morgan. You look at the ability for Seth to find good opportunities. Wright Phillips had a couple shots blocked. Bravo found himself a little more open later in the first half. You have to think the adjustments are going to be made to make a real run at winning this opener at this new stadium.
Well, and as I said, if they can push players forward, they can take advantage of the fact and exploit the 3 backs. that Toronto is playing with. It's a little hard to break them down in the midfield, but if they can get the ball forward to their attacking players, they can really take advantage of the fact that they're just numbers up or matched 3v3.
Worth noting that both teams will have just 3 subs to use in the second half, a change in the USL rules from last year when you were allowed to have 5. So both teams have all 3 available to them as we're on to the second half of play. And an early heavy challenge as Eckenrode taking down Jason Johnson. Throw for Cody Wakasa. All Big West the last couple of years at Cal Poly. Bounces towards Wakasa. Telfer couldn't hang on. Ball played towards Johnson, who steps by, setting up Watson. Phoenix in the all-red kits. Mad Decent on the front. Toronto FC2 is moving right to left in the white and blue kits. Raheem Edwards able to keep this ball in play. Strong attacking work early as Delgado works down the end line and comes free to Watson. Through ball for Bravo, taken away.
Vasquez trying to find Bravo's feet, but that ball needs to go to his feet. I think Bravo made a run in behind, so that needs to be chipped over because a ball on the ground is not going to slip through all of those players that Toronto has in the midfield. So if it's going to Bravo on his run, it has to be over the top, or if it's on the ground, it has to go to his feet. It can't be in between because that ball just won't make it through the defenders.
Well, if you can't go down the middle, maybe you should try the sides, and that's what Phoenix does here. We saw him leak out that way previously as Seth, again using the back of his head almost as an additional pass back into the middle of the box.
Well, and that's the key, is what it looked like was an additional pass, but there was no player there to follow up with it. Up high on the box like that, that ball is pretty unlikely to go in the back of the net unless you get a weird hop almost, but right there, they need another player in behind following it up because that's not dangerous enough if it's from the top of the box.
Chapman still holding on to the ball, and he plays it through, and coming out to grab it is Cohen. Cohen's debut with the side, and that's good work from Wakasa. Johnson, former Generation Adidas player who played in Chicago and in Houston, as they try and work the ball to the opposite side and do. Endo retreating again. Service coming across is Watson. Gets by his defender, curls it to the opposite post. Setting up a shot that's just wide.
What a beautiful build up there for Phoenix. Beautiful. You see Vasquez getting forward, forcing Endo to defend him, so roles have reversed from the first half. The ball comes all the way wide. Watson chases it down. I don't know if you saw that, Mike. Behind the foot pass, he flicked it behind him. He crossed his feet, flipped it behind him. Nothing came out from it, but a great build-up by Phoenix getting players forward.
Will it lead to the goal? Rooney, the header just over that off the top netting. And the work just continues to improve for Phoenix.
Well, in that build-up before, just the momentum for Phoenix that was created by that is obvious. They have a great opportunity, get a corner kick, beautiful ball in, 2 players that could have put that one away. Nothing came from it, but they have the momentum. You can hear the crowd coming back into this game. The players have more confidence now going forward. They're able to be dangerous, find dangerous passes through. That's what they needed, was to come out for the second half and make their mark on the game.
Watson was fouled. He played for Yallop with Chicago Fire. The Englishman taking that contact and keeping the ball for Phoenix as this deflects out over the far touchline. confidence is so underrated at times. You know, the first 10 minutes look so good, but this team is so new that it seemed like they sort of derailed from what made them so strong in those first 10 minutes, and Toronto adjusted to their credit. But it seems like Phoenix has figured it out over the last maybe 10 or so game minutes. And on the restart, Bounds to pace.
Well, and Mike, going back to what you said, confidence, I think, is one of the most underrated skills, you could call it, in soccer, whether it's your debut, whether you're a rookie, playing on this level for the first time, whether it's confidence as a team, whether it's confidence as a goalkeeper coming out and winning challenges with your feet. Confidence is one of the skills that really sets good players apart from great ones. Because if you're not confident in yourself, if you're not confident in your passes, if you're not confident in your runs forward, your tackles on the field, you won't be the player you can be.
Delgado rips, and that is out of play. Cohen wasn't challenged. And they're great players on this Phoenix team right now. The confidence certainly brimming. The guys who have World Cup experience on this squad, the Mexican Bravo, the Englishman, and Sean Wright Phillips, and a lot of guys who have proven themselves in this league. You're just trying to build, you mentioned team confidence and the confidence of the youngsters in this group who are equally exciting in the long run for this franchise. Another run up the left wing from Edwards. They play him now as he tries to glide between two defenders.
Well, and it's also just confidence in veteran players as well. Players go through slumps, and if you're a striker and you usually score, you're the leading scorer. Sometimes if it's not going your way, you lose confidence. If you're a midfielder and you win tackles, great passes, and maybe it's not going your way, you lose confidence. So it happens to the most veteran players as well. Rookies, veterans, teams as a whole. So as I said, it's just so underrated in the game of soccer.
Ben Spencer finally dispossessed. And we're fairly confident that you're enjoying watching on your view in Arizona on USL Match Center for the first of Arizona's team's games this year, as Phoenix Rising is on TV both home and away this campaign. Glad you could be aboard. The game also available in Spanish using the SAP button all across Arizona. Johnson was stepping backwards as the ball went in front of him, and he's trying to do all the work himself. That ball really blasted out of the park.
Great job by him to keep that ball in play. Oftentimes, players may back off that if they don't think they're going to get it. If, as you said, you're moving backwards, it's hard to shift your weight forward. But a great job by him to keep the ball for his team.
Rooney's service. And Bravo had the wires crossed a little bit. He's got his hand up. He knows that he could have had a bit of a better read on that ball initially.
Although nothing came from it, that's something I want to see continue, is the combinations there between Bravo and Rooney, getting forward and just connecting and combining off one another.
This is a team, it should be noted, without Jordan Stewart, as it's turned over, pushed ahead by Rooney. And a corner coming for a Phoenix side, mentioned without Jordan Stewart. Sean Wright Phillips is healthy, but dealt with an injury in preseason as well. And Chris Cortez dealing with an injury as well as Phoenix restarts quickly. Lofted into the 18, comes down to Wright Phillips. His shot deflected back, this time by Ryan Telfer. Phoenix trying to apply some pressure here.
And they're having trouble breaking it down because Toronto has every single player back behind the ball. You said right there, Ryan Telfer tackled the ball. He's the forward. They're all behind the ball, and it's just so difficult for Phoenix because there's so many players to get through and there's no spaces for them to play their passes.
Phoenix just trying to break this group down since they scored in the 8th minute. Headed down by Johnson. And kicked out. It's a throw for Phoenix.
Well, and that touch by Johnson didn't look like too much, but right there in that position, that's the best place to play the ball, is just get it on the ground and give your teammates an opportunity to run onto it to make it dangerous. Some players try to head it in from the top corner of the 18, and it's just not dangerous. So that's a great touch there by him.
Wakasa plays it long. Ball slips out of the hands of Pace, who's able to recover. Some Toronto hearts skipped a beat there.
I think some Phoenix hearts did as well, getting excited off that. I mean, it looked like a bit of a miscommunication error, and you see Seth there trying to make something happen, but that's what you want from a forward if you're Phoenix, is just taking advantage of a miscue.
And all three defenders for this Toronto team new to the starting roles, and they had 6 goalkeepers last year in Toronto, and none of them are starting tonight. Johnson plays it low, bounds out, and how far can Raheem Edwards take it? And he commits the foul as down goes Wakasa. Well, this should be dangerous for Phoenix after this foul by Edwards.
Well, that's just great body positioning by Wakasa. Edwards is extremely quick. If he can turn the corner, change direction, most likely he will win that 50-50 ball, win the ball down the line. Wakasa does a great job of just getting his body in front of the ball and blocking that turn and winning his team a foul there and a free kick.
Luke Rooney, a terrific striker of the ball. And the attacking midfielder find his way through. In the last 9 games last year, he scored 7 goals and assisted 2 more. Rooney bounds out. It's backstopped. Vasquez. That was deflected, and well done by goalkeeper Mark Pace to get over there. Keep that from being a corner. And that's an inadvertent handball by Wright Phillips.
Smart play, though, by Wright Phillips to keep the ball and just waste time, help his team get behind the ball because they were caught in transition right there. So great job, heads-up play by him there just to hold the ball and kind of not give it back to the ref, just to waste time.
Lawrence Eckenrode going to his right. Quieter half from Tsubasa Endo on that side. Eckenrode, former Michigan Wolverine. Now Edwards. Breakthrough player last year, trying to break through the defense. And the whistle, this is coming back, and it's a foul against Greer. And this Phoenix defense trying to stop the one-man wrecking crew that's Raheem Edwards.
And you can tell the type of player he is. He draws 3 defenders into him to try to stop him, gets clipped, and still almost gets past the Phoenix defense. So Edwards, so dangerous, quick on the ball, great with the ball at his feet. Just, he's going to be fun to watch as the season progresses, as his career progresses, because he's only 21 years old and is such a young talent.
Got his first assist a week ago and didn't even know it. He got one of those hockey assists, the secondary assist. He said, my ball didn't find the goal scorer, but journalists assured him that he had indeed gotten his first MLS assist against Vancouver. He's with TFC2 tonight. Nodded up into the air on the restart from Endo. Johnson. Bravo trying to sneak by. Restart from Phoenix. And Rooney lost his footing as he tried to pick it off. Now can Toronto respond? The answer is quickly. Spencer assisted on the opening goal of this game. That took a deflection off of Vasquez, and it's played low, kicked away by Ramage.
Ramage, such a solid defender back there for Phoenix, doing a great job just following the ball, keeping his eye on it.
And this ball gets all the way through. Spencer tried to hold it in. This ball trails into the corner. Delgado. And now Brian James, who alluded to all the star power to the Toronto FC website. 36 in white. Knew they'd have to play a great game to get a result. And with an hour played, James and this group have done enough. Hold a 1-0 lead over Phoenix.
And we've talked a lot about Toronto's possession so far tonight, but their best opportunities have come from transitions and quick transitions. When Phoenix is pushed forward and they lose it, going the other way quickly, that has given them most of their good looks tonight, and they scored off that early in the first half. They've just really had really good opportunities off of the counterattack. So if you're Phoenix, take care of the ball going forward, or else you're going to have to defend quickly going the other way.
And Edwards was right in Rooney's grill as he took over the ball. Lost by Johnson, and this gets to Spencer. He tries to sneak by. He collides with Cohen, and it looks like the dirt, and you can see pieces of turf came up as he went down, was the culprit, not the goalkeeper, Cohen.
Once again, picked off a ball in the midfield. Cohen, fantastic, so confident. Doesn't completely stop the ball, but how he comes out to that ball just stops the momentum of Spencer going forward. So great job by Cohen. Has been so strong in the back there for Phoenix.
And we talked about how good Mike Seth was in the first half. Not really seen at all in the second half, and maybe that's why Cortez comes on in his place.
Chris Cortez. Leading the match is number 12.
So Seth's debut in Phoenix is complete. And for Cortez, who was hampered by injuries last year, he had 7 goals and 4 assists in total. He's going to try and make an impact in this, the opening game of the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex. The lights are on here in the desert as this green oasis stands out next to the Interstate 202. As that ball finds its way over to those Pruitt seats. At every Phoenix Rising home match during the 2017 season, 2 lucky fans will be upgraded to sit in the best seats in the house, courtesy of Pruitt's Fine Furniture. These lucky winners will not only enjoy tonight's action in the most comfortable seats directly on the pitch, but those luxury reclining chairs, they're going to be delivered to their home next week as a gift from Phoenix Rising FC and Pruitt's Fine Furniture. So
sign me up for that.
So the best place for them to watch the game against Real Monarchs next week is on those same reclining chairs.
Exactly, still in the chair, just a different location. That's fantastic. How do we get in on that one?
I don't know. I wonder if they deliver to me as Jordan McCrary has come on for Toronto. The former first-round pick of the New England Revolution. Edwards trying to get by Wakasa. Couldn't quite do so. Comes to Bravo. How quickly can Phoenix turn the scales? Attack breaks down momentarily. Here's Peter Ramage, released by Crystal Palace in 2014, reached a bit of a crossroads. He spent 12 years with Newcastle's organization as Endo's Knight. You mentioned how strong he was in the first half, and again, a little quiet in the second is done. Ramage has been a revelation for this group at the center back position. As Watson goes backward, Wakasa. There's Watson again. Englishman lifts it towards the box. Wright Phillips trying to get behind. Deflects over towards Cortez. Greer, hard challenge right at the midfield line. And it's the goal scorer, Ryan Telfer, who's worse for the wear.
Phoenix is just a touch off right now, and that foul right there is a perfect example of it. Just not stepping to the ball quick enough, being just a step behind, taking the player down, but their passes are just a beat off. Their runs are just a beat off. Their tackles are just a beat off. If they can just speed it up a little bit and find the run, find the pass, make the tackle, they'll be in good shape.
Book is open. That's the first yellow card of this game. Comes all the way in the 65th minute. I always wanted to know what referees wrote in there. Really can't be as simple as yellow card on insert player here, right?
For what happened, they say what happened, why the yellow,
Sure.
the player, the team.
This ball played low again. Telfer was the target.
Fans, please note that alcohol
It's not too late to be a ref. You can always find out.
I could. I don't want that gig.
Call some games in the booth, on the field.
The 66th minute between Toronto and Phoenix as we close the first day of the 2017 United Soccer League season. Action abound across the league as they open the biggest schedule in the history of this league. Jason Bent arguing on the edge of his technical box. There's Raheem Edwards, maybe the best example Toronto has to point to of what this team means to the larger organization. Driving down, Telfer lifts the ball up. Spencer touching it backward. And here comes driving through Chapman. Belongs to Phoenix.
Great team defending there. They crunched the box, brought numbers in, had a few clearances, but just great team defending all around.
Trying to switch the point of the attack. Vasquez is really going to have to run to track that down, and he does. What do you see right now over this last 25 minutes that could begin to turn the tide one way or another? What are you looking for at this point? As this ball gets all the way through, maybe the answer is right in front of us as Cortez was offside. Oh, goodness. Bravo leapt up for the ball. Cortez ran right by. And, well, fans seem to disagree. I'm not sure, and I don't disagree as well. As Rigi comes on for Phoenix.
Number 17, Alessandro Rigi. Leading the match is number 10, Luke Rooney.
So Luke Rooney is done. Rigi and Cortez, the first two substitutes used by Phoenix here today, while Toronto has used one in McCrary.
Mike, going back to your question about what needs to happen here for Phoenix, connecting the ball on the final pass. Too often they're not, as I said, they're a beat off. The ball's not going to feet, the ball's not going in behind. Maybe the run is there, but there's not enough air under the pass. So it's just connecting that final ball because all the parts are there, just not together. So it's just connecting that final pass to give them an opportunity to then get in behind.
A sellout here in Phoenix. A couple seats have emptied as the rails along the stadium are utterly packed right now. In the 69th minute, you can see it, fans lining up to be a part of this momentous day. Bravo. Watson. And not too far for Vasquez. A little bit of frustration from Ramage.
And an example of just the pass. It's the right idea, getting Vasquez wide, switching the field when you have time, but the pass just not connecting.
And in the long run, if you do those things right, those are the right decisions, right? You're making the right moves. It's just the execution is maybe in a first game of the season form.
Well, talking with Coach Yallop, he said he hopes the team just gels together as the season goes on. So they're still learning both teams are still learning just how one another play. But as you said, if you connect the passes, the runs are right. So, okay, connect the passes, and it just makes everything easier. It opens up the game. It allows players to play their best and play their game. It allows players to combine, like Bravo, Johnson, Cortez, Wright, Phillips. It allows them to combine when you find their feet.
Lars Eckenrode, who turned 22 yesterday, is done. On comes Brandon Onconi, played with FC Montreal in the USL last year. As Toronto FC 2 has their attack breakdown. Still got 20 minutes to go in this one. Toronto moving into neutral now. Ronconi, first touch. Came over from TFC3. He was playing in Italy just last week with that group. Actually scored a stoppage time, match-tying goal over there. As a whistle to stop play, and Phoenix trying to reset. Wakasa, and then the whistle. Onconi finding himself pushing into Omar Bravo. Onconi just 19 years old. Bravo at 37.
Well, Onconi, no need for that hard tackle, because if you're Bravo, there's really nowhere to go except backwards. He's not going to be able to turn. There's not a lot of space. So just stand your ground and force him to play backwards. There's no need to give up a foul there, but a great opportunity here for Phoenix.
Wright Phillips. Wow, pace. And a lot of traffic rising above the trees to take that in. Well, hobbled too. So too, apparently, half the attacking set of players here.
A nice floated ball in. A bit dangerous as it's not directly to a player, but it does give his team an opportunity to get there. But if the ball's floated, the goalkeeper has time to come out and get it, and collisions like that occur. But I like seeing all of the Phoenix players around the ball. They're hungry to put the ball in the back of the net, which is great to see. They're going to start pushing now with only 18 minutes left in the game.
J.J. Greer was late to get up. He moves over from Colorado Springs, where he played for Steve Tritchu, and was coming off the bench late in the season, doing what was needed, but into a starting role to start here for Phoenix as pace restarts. Ball goes back to Toronto. Time ticking on this opening game of the 2017 United Soccer League regular season. Only meeting between Phoenix and an Eastern Conference team this year. And it comes in the opener against a Toronto FC 2 side that they have never played against.
Reggie's a player who's known for his ability to switch directions and turn quickly. Perfect example right there. So quick, so tricky. Shows right there why he says he's good at turning around. Perfect example.
Correct. As Cortez held up momentarily, but lofts it down the wing. And that kept in play. Well, Reggie finds himself on the scene again.
And I think what's more impressive is how fast he went down the line, did a little cut, and then is already tracking back. So quick, so good at switching directions, like I said. But a player to continue to watch as has fresher legs than a lot of the guys on the field right now.
We've seen two attack-minded players come on for Phoenix, two defensive players come on for Toronto. And McCrary and Onconi, and then Reggie and Cortez, this Phoenix side. So it may well be a battle of fresh legs here down the final 16 minutes. Watson, who's really impressed in his holding mid-roll yet again. Ramage. Watson slides in, slows the attack down at least for a moment. Chapman, a nice move to deflect away the pressure.
Watson's working so hard in that central area, but he's alone. Yes, he's the holding mid and the 4-1-4-1, but if he's down on the ground tackling, he needs somebody helping to cover for him and win those balls.
Ladies and gentlemen, the attendance for tonight's game is 6,890.
6,890 in attendance here at Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex. What a amazing start to the season as the turn from the goal scorer goes without any luck. Toronto attacking again, pushing into the 18. A collision there in the box. Edwards keeps the ball, drives inside. That's deflected out of play by Cohen. Raheem Edwards has done a little bit of everything today.
This Toronto team is just putting the pressure on Phoenix, but once again, Josh Cohen's so strong in the back for Phoenix. Extremely confident, extremely good with his hands, quick, doing a great job, keeping his team just down 1-0, giving his team an opportunity to come back in this game.
Brian James will get the restart. Played his college ball at Virginia and Penn State. Deflects out, setting up a shot that's skied out of play by Marky Delgado. Played almost 2,000 minutes last year in Major League Soccer's regular season, but just 2 minutes in that dream playoff run for Toronto to the MLS Cup final. And there's a player down here for Phoenix trying to stretch out.
When we talked about Matt Watson for Phoenix, a player who might not be as big of a name but has a huge role in the team, there you go, Delgado with Toronto. 2,000 minutes, just an anchor for his team. Not one of the biggest names on his team, but just such a huge part.
Chivas USA homegrown player, a U.S.-born player, born to Mexican parents in California. As a push off there, and as Cortez drew the contact. And can Phoenix try and maybe change the direction of the tide in these final 12 and a half minutes? Come away with at least a point in their opener. Two teams that have never reached the USL Cup playoffs. Both teams that feel a lot better this year about the composition of their roster than they did this time last. Phoenix may be making among the biggest, splashiest signings in the league, right there maybe with maybe a St. Louis that added a ton of USL veterans. This Phoenix team choosing to go outside USL for many of their signings. Bravo, Wright Phillips. We'll see Jordan Stewart enter into the equation when he returns from his knock. And then bring in some savvy USL players as well, and Seth and Johnson. The attack on for Phoenix, that over Johnson. Edwards. Watson going up the right. Wakasa plays Johnson. Johnson lost the ball, but that was one heck of a turn.
He didn't quite lose it. He slipped and still had it at his feet. It's fantastic.
Telling me that was on purpose, and I'll call you a liar. that slipped down by Johnson. No way.
That was extremely athletic. How he, one, stayed on his feet, and two, kept the ball at his feet. That is, wow, that's incredible. That's incredible, honestly.
As Gray will come on and Wakasa sits. That's the third and final sub available to Phoenix. And Cody Wakasa, who signed yesterday, makes his professional debut at the outside back position and certainly proved himself worthy of the shirt today.
Leading the match is number 3, Cody Wakasa.
I think Wakasa played a strong game. I think he earned I think, a fair amount of positive words come the end of this match.
Well, and you never know how a team is going to look once they're on the stage for the first game, but especially rookies. You don't really know how it's going to turn out, but Wakasa, great job by him, just stepping up to the occasion along with Vasquez, 2 young guys playing outside back positions, which could easily be exploited. They've done great tonight, and just working hard and getting forward and defending together with their team and winning tackles, but a great debut for him.
And you talk about 2 rookie outside backs, as hobbling back up the field is Ben Spencer. Going up against Endo, who featured significantly last year, 21 appearances, and then Edwards on those wings was not easy stuff as James puts it back in play and winds it straight out as Brandon Aubrey, the first-round pick out of Notre Dame, was the target. Notre Dame also putting Justin Morrow into the Toronto FC organization as he came over from Cleveland St. Ignatius to Notre Dame, whereas the route for Aubrey came through Plano, Texas. Cortez has that knocked out of bounds. Watson for Phoenix. Johnson battling for the ball with Chapman. And a yellow card whipped out immediately against A.J. Gray.
This is where legs start to get tired, and the ref is just trying to keep control of that, bringing out the yellow real quick, saying, end it. It's not going to happen during this game. So he's just trying to control the match. Gray's just trying to tackle, clipped him a little bit, but the ref's just trying to keep control of this game as it enters the last 8 minutes.
This game has really moved quite quickly. Not a lot of stoppages. The game has really moved with some fairly solid tempo, and as I say that, the second foul in the last 30 seconds. Play brought back as advantage apparently played there previously. And, you know, every time Phoenix gets an opportunity in a place like this, you wonder if this is going to be the breakthrough moment on what has potential to be a magical evening in Arizona for professional soccer.
Well, and Regi needs to play this ball in with something in mind. He can't just play it in to play it in. It needs to be direct.
And he knocked that into a dangerous position as A.J. Gray goes down close to the box, and they're looking for more than that. Kept in by Wright Phillips, who found himself legitimately halfway down the field. Rooney is out, but the other 2 primary offensive targets for this group are still in Wright Phillips and Omar Bravo, who have not had their number called nearly enough, one would think, in this opening game. Toronto has done well to take the Stars out of the equation tactically as best they can. Referee trying to wave play on and make sure this keeps moving. There's some chiding coming from La Furia Roja as well. Of course, Morgan, you know the college game. Certainly from your time at Virginia Tech, this amount of time and the referee would turn to the bleachers and call for play to the clock to stop until the restart eventually. Not the case here, just more time ticking on to stoppage. And Phoenix a chance to break through here late. The shot deflected towards Johnson, bounces across the box, and Cortez wasn't quite able to get there in time as Bravo finally beginning to break through this defense. And there's a foul on the edge of the playing area. So Cortez earns the contact, and now a chance for Phoenix in the final 5 minutes.
Well, and as I said earlier with the last free kick, Phoenix needs to use this as an opportunity. They need to have a target in mind. It can't just be a ball floated or driven across. It needs to be a player picked out to put it in the back of the net.
It'll be A.J. Gray, who played in the Canadian youth system under Frank Yallop. A.J. Gray on the restart. Winds this high across the box. Watson, can he keep it in? He cannot. And what seemed like a golden opportunity goes by the wayside a bit disappointingly.
I said it earlier in terms of the passing and the movement. There's just a little disconnect, and it's not uncommon to see it. It's the first game. Players, as I have said multiple times, are still trying to figure out how one another play, but he saw Watson on that wide side. Watson is a tall player. To loft that ball in, it needs to be driven to him so the power can stay with the ball and be a dangerous ball back across. But just to loft that into Watson, not too dangerous.
Able to keep the ball. Phoenix driving down towards the end line. Lifted towards Johnson, and that's wide. Johnson rose up, still down on his knees. That nearly the equalizer.
Regi just slicing past players. Great ball across Johnson. Perfect positioning. Just can't get the header to find the corner. But Regi so dangerous coming in, finding the ball, slipping between players. Fantastic job individually by him, and a great ball across. Johnson just can't get it to fall.
Meanwhile, we bring in the former Virginia Tech Hokie, Ricardo John. Three goals in 4 games last year, arriving from Central FC in Trinidad and Tobago. Served across the top of the 18, and this falls kindly for Ben Spencer, who's going to take it into the corner with 3 minutes remaining before stoppage time, and gave it away less than 10 seconds later. So all 6 subs have been used in this second half, 3 for each side. Taken away. Here comes Phoenix.
Vasquez playing so much bigger than a rookie in his opening USL game. Fantastic individual defending by him, and then to be able to get the ball at his feet and connect, fantastic job by him.
John going to the right now. Vasquez will be matched up again on Ben Spencer, who has an assist in the game. He'll try and fire this across the face of goal. And they're pointing towards the corner. Still time here, as even local law enforcement helping to move this thing along. And it's a goal kick. So Phoenix does well to take it back, and now with 90 seconds plus stoppage remaining, they try and get a couple more good attacks up the field as Cohen launches it into the night desert sky. Gray. And now the whistle. His progress impeded. And while Gray may have had his arms around Coney, he's simply made himself a little too big for the occasion.
You often see that foul called on the attacker trying to get around, being a little handsy, but a great break for Phoenix. As we said right here, they need to be purposeful with where they hit this. It can't just be floated in. It can't just be lofted in the air. It needs to have a purpose and a player at the end of it.
The smoke is out from La Furia Roja. Could this be the backdrop for a late goal for Phoenix? Regi, who's come off the bench, will take this free kick in the 90th minute. Regi punched away, falls, turning is Gray. Regi will get a second bite at the apple. And he carries it ahead. Regi with the left foot. The header snapped wide.
Not a bad idea from Regi. You could tell when he got that second ball, he took a touch, looked to hit it. His defender slipped in front of him, so he thought he had a little bit extra time, which is unfortunate. He should have just hit it right away. He had his momentum going forward, but when you see that out of the corner of your eye, you think you have more time than you do. So unfortunate for him, but a great opportunity for Phoenix. They were aggressive, found the second ball.
2 minutes of added time, setting the stage late. Trying to recollect the defended ball. After the game, make sure you stick around. We've got our post-game highlights, as well as our full-time stats before we say so long. Next game is on the road at Real Monarchs, then a 4-game homestand. LA Galaxy 2, Reno, Swope Park, the Western Conference champions, and OKC Energy are all making their way right here to Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex. So make sure that next time when tickets are available, you try and make your way out to the stadium. phxrisingfc.com. Back to Cohen. Defensively, this was a good game from Phoenix. Strong work after a tough year last year. They're just trying to find the offensive kinks and knock them out now. Time running low. There's the restart. Watson along the end line. Contact. Regi couldn't draw the foul. Final seconds. A throw for Phoenix. And it's full time. Toronto to start a 3-game road swing. Ruined the opening reception for Phoenix Rising at the Phoenix Rising Soccer Complex. They pick up 3 points. And they move to the top of the Eastern Conference at the end of match day 1 by knocking off Phoenix 1-0.
Phoenix Rising FC.
Coming in, Toronto's mentality was respect all, fear nobody, and that's what they brought into this game. But on the other side of that, Phoenix, defensively, extremely strong, played a great game. Attacking, they have the players, they have the ideas. It's just about connecting it, gelling it together. A great opening game for both teams. Unfortunately didn't go the way Phoenix would have liked, but they have the ideas, and as they build throughout this season, they'll be fine, and they'll be able to put it all together.
Toronto gets a goal in the 8th minute from Ryan Telfer. He signed yesterday out of York University and makes an immediate impact at the USL level as we take a look back at the full-time highlights. And from the very beginning, there was so much anticipation, excitement in Arizona for this. And in the 8th minute, all the air right out of the balloon.
Just fantastic work getting forward. A transition quick, going forward, a great ball across by Spencer and a great finish by Telfer.
As you see Telfer in the 8th minute knocking that ball in. This is maybe the best opportunity for Mike Seth in the first half.
Gets the ball on his left foot. Dangerous. Takes a touch away from goal, but can whip it back across. Gets a little under it, goes over, but as you said, a good opportunity for him and one of his best chances on the night.
On to the second half with Omar, Bravo, and gang. This ball falling down and knocking it into a dangerous spot for Vasquez, who just misses. Vasquez had a good game. Really, he was one of the real shining stars of this first affair.
And he had a great game defensively and getting forward, crossing, and then obviously goal-scoring opportunities as well.
This a rip well away from Josh Cohen, who made his debut, ceding just that 1 goal. And he came off his line when he needed to. He impressed.
Cohen so strong in the back for Phoenix, but on the other side, Telfer for Toronto proved to be a dangerous forward in this league.
Coming out to grab this on the edge is Pace. This in the second half of play as we neared full time. Phoenix trying to figure out a way to break this team down. Raheem Edwards came down from the first team for Toronto, had a couple of really great plays.
and just showed how he can be a leader on the field for this Toronto team. But as we said earlier, Josh Cohen, fantastic performance from him in this opening night.
And this one of the great chances late. Johnson unable to put it in, and the whole team hands on their heads. And Johnson, maybe the best chance of the game for Phoenix, who take 14 shots, Morgan, but put just 2 on target. Possession about even, and ultimately Toronto, 3 points, Phoenix, none.
And Toronto was able to take care of what they were doing. Phoenix, as I said, had the right ideas. You see, they were being efficient, 14 shots on goal. They had to do something right to get that close and to have that many opportunities. So they have the right ideas, the right build-ups. It's just finishing it, finishing the last pass, finishing the last shot.
So this was strong work from Phoenix, but in the end they come away with no points. It's a disappointing opener at home, but after they take on Real Monarchs next, they'll look forward to having 4 consecutive home games to try and build on this strong start that comes away fruitless in terms of the standings, as the statistics certainly lent themselves to a better result for this Phoenix club. But in the end, this rebirth, this Phoenix Rising team, unable to come away with any points as La Furia Roja and this sellout crowd tried to will them on. So this Phoenix team looks forward to 4 home games as they will hope to try and build towards a USL Cup playoff appearance. All those games will be seen on local YourView TV. For Gabriella Alvarado and Morgan Conklin, our entire crew with Mitchell Talana, Molly Flynn, and Tom Piro, Mike Watts saying so long from Phoenix, where Toronto scores in the 8th minute. Ryan Telfer to take a 1-0 win away to open the 2017 USL regular season.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.